The first thing I'd like to talk about when mixing the genre of hip-hop or trap or one of those in-between subgenres is genre semiotics. Genre semiotics has to do with all the things that the listener may interpret as part of that specific genre. In fact, the word semiotics means the study of signs. So not just like a stop sign, but what is it about that stop sign that conveys the message that you have to stop? Is it red? Is it the white lettering? And depending upon geographically speaking where that stop sign exists, because some regions have different stop signs, the viewer is going to interpret it a certain way. And the interesting thing about semiotics, it's not just the anatomy of the sign that conveys the message. Part of the study is also how the viewer interprets that sign and also misinterprets that sign. So when I talk about genre semiotics, I think about all of the things that come with a certain genre that the listener expects, that the listener will interpret as an affirmation that they are indeed listening to that specific genre if they go into their listening session with the intention of listening to that specific genre, or the things that could be misinterpreted to make them think that they're not listening to that certain genre, and whether I want to do that purposefully or not. So let's talk about trap and hip hop and all the things that the listener will identify in your song to affirm that they are indeed listening to that specific genre. So some few things come to mind. Of course, it's an 808 or the bass that is coupled along with the kick drum. That is probably the quintessential thing that someone would identify as a sound that comes from this specific genre. Now, over the years, probably for the last 20 years, this genre has been rising in popularity, where now, in the last couple of years, it has been thrown into popular music or pop music. We want to be mindful of that when we are doing this type of record, because do you want to allude that this could be a much more mainstream version of this genre, or a much more concentrated version of this genre where the audience is a little bit more niche? That's up to you to communicate with your producer in order to be aligned with what they're trying to convey to the audience. So in this course, we're going to be looking at the semiotic sounds of this particular genre. Typically your kick drum, your 808 bass, the trill hats. Of course, we're going to go over vocal sounds and effects. Now, one interesting thing that I'm going to include in this course is guitars, because as of recently, there's been a genre blending of 90s alternative that is sort of resurging in popular music, and it's being blended in now, in my opinion, in a really cool way. So I'm also going to be including guitars in this too, and how, not guitars in general, like if we were mixing a metal band or a rock band, but more of like a psychedelic 90s alt sound that is being implemented in this genre. So with all that being said, let's jump in to our mixing game plan.